All right. Hello, hello, all. We are back. I just realized this is like way off, but that's okay. Hi. Back on House and Fata Morgana tonight. I am expecting to get completely wrecked because we've had so many, like, we had two really nice streams together, and we know that this doesn't end well. It's gonna happen, and I'm not ready for it, but I am ready for it. Just as a heads up, we are going to keep this stream probably about an hour and a half tonight. I apologize, I've been doing training at work, and so it's been I've been up really early. But that still gives us an hour and a half, so let's go ahead and do our recap. So, all right. Giselle woke up Michael with the sunlight like a princess, and he was grumpy to rise but let her be herself. She wants to clean, and they're starting to see how pretty each other is. They got closer and happier living together. She got on his case about eating his veggies and decided to change the grocery deliveries. He slowly opened up and told her about his brothers that she never saw, faking his death so his father wouldn't kill him. Michael blamed the ingredients for his lousy cooking, had an accidental lucky pervert moment when Giselle sneezed in the library, and other shoujo manga moments with her. In winter, they read together at the fireplace, and he wondered about returning to the Bollinger house and bringing her with him because he can't stop thinking about how she makes him feel, but he doesn't want to fall in love again. She gave him a rose that she grew in secret, and he put it in her hair. Then he tried to hide his embarrassment by offering to paint her because she's prettier than a vase. They had an awkward art session, and she offhandedly admitted that she loves him, but tried to brother zone him. Yeah, that was. Yeah. He almost kissed her, but she freaked out and pushed him back. They processed their feelings, and she begged for another chance to confess her romantic love properly, but he chickened out. A mysterious voice that we suspect is Abby. Yeah, I think we've changed our stance on Abby. Um, I think we're kind of to the like fuck Abby, all my friends hate Abby. Um, that we suspect is Abby taunted Michael to discourage him from pursuing Giselle, but he fought back and confessed for real. She made sure he wouldn't call takesies backsies this time, and then asked him to look at the scars Antonin left her on her naked body. Michael offered to cast a curse on his dad for Giselle, but she was too scared to accept, even as she believed in curses, so he embraced her in all her pain instead. In the morning, he bonked her for making a dirty joke, and she asked him to call her by name. Hot Maid still wants this story to end before it gets tragic and is still trying to dissociate from Giselle. And thank you for the good luck with work. All right, so let's go ahead and at least load up. That is the worst when the computer doesn't recognize that you're completing the module, and so like you then have to take it all over again, but then you just feel like it's an even bigger waste of time, and yeah. This one's been a live one, so it's been on Zoom all day, and so I've been on camera all day. And we're back to pajama streams because it's been a long day. A month had passed since the night with the rose. Right on schedule, the monthly delivery arrived, but in it was a letter that would dramatically change our lives. My father, Antonin, had fallen ill and died. Good! Sorry, but good. He probably deserved worse. I presumed it was the witch's doing, but she was silent, refusing to respond to my questions. If it wasn't her, then he must have died naturally. It seemed more than a little tasteless to celebrate someone's death, but good taste and reality do not always agree. I was extremely relieved to hear the news. The man had raped Giselle. He had tried to have me killed. And now he was gone from this world. I had been waiting for this moment for years. Oh god, yeah. Your camera was off during the Zoom meeting. You have to sit through another one all over again. I am suffering really hard being on camera all the time because, like, I've talked about being diagnosed ADHD before, but one of the things that I always do, like when I'm in meetings and such, I always have my camera off because I'm always like pacing around my room because for some reason when I walk and talk, the words come out better, which is probably why I'm not so eloquent on these streams because I sit still. But like being on camera, I can't do that because then it looks weird. So yeah, don't speak ill of the dead. Don't be a piece of shit while you're alive. You know what? Fuck Antonin. All my friends hate Antonin. His passing had another effect as well. My death could be revoked. Many years ago, my brother had told me that when he succeeded our father, he would welcome me back to the Bollinger estate, and I could be part of the family once more. Oh, I think I see where this is going to fall apart already. Which meant this letter signaled the end of my banishment. Um, not sure how to feel about it. Yeah, rejoicing doesn't seem to be really appropriate. But this means you can return home now, right? In theory. My brother is set to take control of the estate, so he should be accommodating. I'm going to write a letter, have them send us a carriage. It is much too long a distance to walk. All right. I'm excited. What should we do first when we get back to the capital? Oh, I know. How about you stop by my place? My mom and sister won't believe their eyes. Why do I get the feeling her mom and sister are probably dead? But, yeah, that's true. I assume that Antonine's wife, Michael's mother, is still alive. She's just not all there, it sounds like. So, but yeah, we are going to have a problem because she is the one who banished Giselle. Well, guess we'll figure that out when we figure it out. We'll find out if that even ends up being a problem or if there's another problem in the way even before that. My time in this mansion was almost at its end. The future I had only vaguely envisioned was now within my reach. I had always spoken of this moment predicated with eventually, like it was some kind of unobtainable fantasy. But now that it was practically a reality, I realized I hadn't actually given it much thought. Oh, yeah, that's a possibility. Giselle's family is now enslaved to the Bollingers. Like, that, they do kind of seem to be pieces of shit kind of across the board. So I'm expecting someone to get screwed over somewhere, and there's a lot of possibilities at the moment. Could be all of them. Could be none of them, too. I could be just judging them far too harshly. Hey, are you still awake? I am. Not a great night for sleeping, huh? Are you thinking about your family? It all seems so surreal. Yeah, it does. This house is like a desert island, cut off from the world, which makes everything feel kind of like a fairy tale sometimes. Even what we have. From time to time, I get the feeling that nothing is real. That the outside world is just a figment of my imagination. That my entire life only ever existed within these walls. Are you nervous? Maybe I am. I always thought that when this day arrived, it would be more cathartic. I'm sorry. I'm finally able to take you back to the capital, and I can't seem to get past my own negativity. Yeah, they're rich. We can't judge them harshly enough. Look, between all of them, Michael has been relegated to this house for like 10 years. So, at the very least, all of them are pieces of shit enough for that. Plus, like, the whole thing with Giselle, we don't know who all was involved in that, but yeah. It's only natural to be nervous. I am too. I haven't spent nearly as long as you living in this mansion. But I know how you feel because I feel the same way. Are we going to get out of this mansion and just find out maybe revolution has happened? Like, wasn't one of the big problems heavy taxation? Yeah, only the house is real. Everything outside is the real Fata Morgana. Not knowing what the future holds? It's scary. You know, I was thinking, I would be okay with staying. I mean, I would love to return to the capital, and I miss my family dearly. But even if I never get to see them again, in no way would I consider myself unhappy. I honestly think I've got a pretty wonderful life.
If you're not comfortable going back to that house, and you're just saying you'll endure it for me, Giselle, there are other paths we can take. You could live with your family, or you could remain here in the mansion.
Not at all, no. I want to. No matter where I go, you'll be there with me, Michael. It's true, I am nervous not knowing what the future holds, but not in a scared something bad might happen kind of way.
Well, good for you, Giselle. I'm scared something bad might happen. No, I'm scared something bad will happen because I have hindsight. The tension, the anticipation is really rough on me right now. Yeah, what could possibly go wrong?
It's more of a jittery, excited anxiousness. I'm confident the two of us can overcome anything, no matter what obstacles may come our way. Together, we can create an even more wonderful future. Don't worry, Michael. The future is nothing to be afraid of.
You make it sound like I'm paralyzed with fear.
But you are, aren't you? Hey now, don't give me that look.
Once again, she's the one pushing me forward. I will make sure you have a good, happy life.
Thank you.
What?
Nothing, nothing. I'm feeling kind of sentimental, thinking about how we've only got a little time left here. It wasn't perfect, but it was an important part of my life.
Indeed.
Say,
Yes?
um, I, well,
Hmm?
I think I could handle it right now, probably.
It?
Oh, use your head, you little.
I don't follow.
How can you be so dense? I mean, you know, touching and so forth. You know, take the next step. I'm saying I'm feeling up for that right now. It's not proper for a woman to bring up that subject, is it? But I did kind of ask you to wait, and I feel bad leading you on for so long.
Girl, it's been a month. He can deal. You guys have literally been together for a month. It's not that long.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
You're shaking.
I'm just really emotional, that's all.
You don't need to force yourself if you're not ready. I can wait as long as you need. Besides,
Besides,
never mind.
Hmm?
It's fine. There's no need to rush things. You don't need to worry.
yeah. I wrote 2 letters, one to my brother and one to my mother. One so Giselle could return.
Okay, so we did think about that apparently. Giselle hands him a dictionary that's bookmarked to the definition of estrus. We have to learn sign language in order to do it. It's fine.
And one so I could be myself, to demonstrate who I was. I had to prove that I was not cursed. For failing to do that would not only bring her grief, it might become the final crack in the identity I had built up for myself. I had to convince her that I was neither demon nor angel, but a human man who had fallen in love with a human woman. However, I was too foolish to realize that the future I envisioned was nothing but a fantasy. Had I been able to grasp that, then maybe I could have taken her somewhere far away, where no one knew who we were, where things might have turned out differently. It's been really foggy out lately. I'd rather if we left it when it was clear. It would be terrible if the coachman rolled the carriage because he couldn't see where we were going. If there wasn't so much fog, I probably would have been able to see the little columns of orange evening sunlight fighting their way through the trees. But the milky white mists seemed to swallow up all the light, leaving nothing for the surrounding area. It was rather dreary weather. I wonder when they'll be here. Although, if they never do show up, that's okay too. I was finally able to return to the capital with Michael, to see my family again. And that was wonderful. It was like a dream come true.
Yeah, I'm gonna guess that his brothers are still going to deem him cursed, no matter what happens. So, I don't know. I'm so nervous.
But it wouldn't disappoint me if that didn't end up happening. I didn't care where I ended up, as long as Michael was there with me. That's all that matters. I should probably close the windows. The coach isn't likely to show up at night, I don't think. Hm? I reached my hands out to shut a window, which is when I saw something wavering beyond the heavy mist. Light? And it wasn't just the one. Looking closer revealed several more flickering spots. They moved up and down, slowly but rhythmically. As more and more came into view, my mind began seeing them as people carrying torches. They're coming this way? Could they be our escorts? Back to the capital? Though. Huh? As soon as the thought, there sure are a lot, popped into my head, something whizzed past my cheek. Huh? What? There was. Huh? Why. What? It was an arrow.
Giselle!
What? The arrow had flown through the window and pierced into the opposite wall.
Had Michael not knocked me out of the way? Giselle. Giselle, are you okay? Yeah, the escort party with torches. It's a fun little party.
Uh, I'm fine. But what? Why did. What? What's going on?
Never mind that. Right now, we need to run.
Huh? Wait, Michael!
Now! There's no time to talk. Stay out of sight of the windows.
Got it! He grabbed my hand and broke into a run. A relentless storm of arrows showered through the windows we had worked so hard to get open a year ago. This wasn't what we had gone through all that effort for.
Yeah, that's what I'm kind of thinking, that the brothers snitched on us to the mob. Like, to be fair, it doesn't really benefit them if Michael suddenly comes out of nowhere. It probably benefits them for him to be dead. So, once I open the front door, run. We have to get as far from this house as quickly as we can.
What was happening? Why did we have to run? Why were those people firing arrows at us? With the wave of questions came a wave of fear. I couldn't say anything. The sheer terror had frozen my jaw in place.
Get ready.
I nodded, squeezing his hand tight. I knew it would just be another obstacle to his safe escape, but I didn't want to let go of his hand.
Oh, is this why Hot Maid doesn't ever want us to let go of her hand? Is this why? Oh no.
I was afraid that if I did, I would never be able to hold it again.
I'm already devastated. Nothing's happened yet. Are you all right?
I'm fine. But how? There are people out front, too? Damn it! Why? Several arrows were sticking out of the floor before us. Beyond the door, which Michael had managed to shut almost immediately, rang a cacophony of whoosh, thump, whoosh, thump. We were... We can't escape? Why? What's going on? Damn it. With a deep scowl, Michael barred the door, and all the while the arrows kept flying. The panic in the air kept growing thicker. I don't understand. How did they... only a handful of people even know about this place. Oh, this is all my fault. It's because I told the villagers about this place. They think a demon lives here, not a human. So they're here to tear down the house. They made weapons, bows, just for this. I don't... There was a deep rumble, and the ground below us shook. I almost fell to the floor. They're trying to break down the door, it seems. Michael, I'm so sorry. This is all my fault. Because of what I did. No. What? It's not your fault. It's mine. Michael? I challenged her. And because I did, she made my curse real. What are you talking about, Michael? This way, run! Seriously, Amade, what the fuck? If that's even who it is, like, what if it's not? What if it's his family? Michael dragged me through the mansion's corridors until we reached the chamber with the stained glass window. At the far end of the room sat a small door. Where does it lead? I'd been aware of the door's presence, but I'd never gone inside it. Something about it seemed somewhat different than the rest of the house. I wasn't sure how to describe it exactly, but it felt like shadows had taken root here. The observation tower. A tower? But if we go up there, we're putting ourselves in a corner. It doesn't matter where we go, they have us trapped. But there's a chance that up here... He didn't finish that thought, however. He opened the door, leading me into the tower, his face deathly pale. I thought the tower might come back. Not ready. We started running again, around and around the spiral staircase, making our way towards the top. In regular intervals along the wall were rectangular windows. A layer of fog still lay thick across the land. Peering out into it made me feel like we had been thrown into a dream world, if it weren't for the orange spots of torchlight surrounding the mansion. The silhouettes holding the torches. Is that armor? Appeared to be knights. Michael, tell me, why do you think this is your fault? What is your curse? Your curse. It isn't just the color of your hair and eyes, is it? There's more to it, isn't there? Yeah, if only elevators had been invented. There's something else, isn't there? Michael's gaze was firmly directed forward as he frantically led me up the stairs. We were breathing hard, and the sound of it echoed against the tower's stone walls. Our panicked hearts were beating so hard, I was afraid they might be able to hear it outside. Eventually, we made it to the top. A pile of discarded rope lay unceremoniously at the foot of a door, presumably once used to seal it shut. The door itself was deeply weathered and rotting in places. It had obviously been left sitting in disrepair even longer than Michael had lived here. What is this? Inside. Frigid air nipped at my skin, and it wasn't a pleasant, refreshing kind of cool, but a bitter, oppressive cold. This room felt unlike any other in the mansion. This is an observation tower. You can't even. There once would have been windows allowing you to see in all directions around the mansion, but all that remains now is that tiny opening near the ceiling. If we hide out here, then there's a chance they may not find us. It sounds like they broke down the door. Don't worry, they won't find us. And when they give up their search, then we can get out of here. I'm sure it will all turn out all right. Michael's voice was quivering, as was his hand in mine. Michael. We huddled together, feeling each other's warmth in our arms. My free hand clenched his shirt for dear life. I'm sorry. What? I'm I'm to blame for this. It's my fault you're in this mess. The pain you had to experience, your being sent to this place, and what's happening now can all be traced back to my being born. I'm so sorry. Why was he apologizing? Why did he insist this was his fault? Why wouldn't he tell me what his curse was? Why were people trying to kill us? Right. Right, those people were trying to kill us. Putting it into words like that made the fear that much more real. The arrows they fired weren't threats. They meant to kill us. Michael. But with Michael trembling in my arms, I couldn't bring myself to ask those questions. What meaning would those answers even have with death lurking so close behind us? All I could do was pray. Pray that he was right, that they wouldn't find us and we would be able to escape. However, over here, there's a door and stairs leading up. My hopes were shattered by the sound of voices from below. I could hear a faint clanking of armor. Our grips on each other tightened, and our trembling intensified. Fear swelled within the tower, making us its slaves. Giselle. We were both terrified. And who wouldn't be? Fairy tale heroes could be magically courageous in the face of overwhelming danger, but they weren't real. The fear of my impending death, drawing nearer and nearer with each passing moment, almost drove me to madness. I couldn't think clearly. My heart was having trouble keeping up. My head was a big white mess. We were supposed to return to the capital, start a new life, finally obtain our happiness. It was right there at our fingertips. Enough happiness to make up for Michael's 10 years of isolation, and enough to erase that nightmare from my memory forever. What had we done to have that taken away from us? We just loved each other and wanted a quiet life together. Nothing outrageous. I don't want to die. I don't want to die. I don't want to die. But what scared me the most was being separated from Michael. Hey, Michael, what are those people really doing here? If what they're after is money or valuables, we can offer them everything in the mansion. We don't need any of it. If they don't want us to return to the capital, we can tell them we'll stay here. They might be willing to talk it over. I don't care if I lose everything else. As long as I have you, I can survive anywhere. All that mattered was that we had our lives, so long as the two of us still breathed. But death! Death to the unholy one! Death to the heretic! Death to the witch! Despair hung over us like the fog outside. There were no heretics, no witches, no unholy ones here. But they would probably never listen to us. The moment we stepped outside of this room, we would be dead, no matter what we said. Michael, I'm, I'm all right. It's okay, Michael. I, I, I'm not scared. You're here with me after all. I'm fine. It's all fine. So please, hold me until it's uh, all over. Please, stay with me.
Finally, you speak.
Michael?
He wasn't looking at me, though. His unfocused eyes were directed upward, not toward any particular point, but wandering aimlessly. His purplish lips appeared to move as though he was speaking, but no sound came out.
Uh, Hey, Michael? Are you all right? Come back to me, Michael.
I grabbed him by the shoulders and shook, but he didn't even seem to notice. No matter how many times I called to him, he didn't look down from the emptiness above.
Michael!
Giselle. Finally, after far too long, his gaze slid down to meet mine. He looked defeated, exhausted, and cornered all at once. I was scared too, but his fear seemed to have consumed him entirely. Please hear me out, Giselle. I never thought anything good would come of my life. I never thought I would find anyone who truly understood me, who would be happy to have my love. And for that, I hated the world. I was in constant torment, living in the shadows. But then, a single ray of light shone down on me.
Michael?
You, Giselle, you delivered me from the darkness. I'm scared, Giselle. I'm terrified. I used to think my life was meaningless, that it didn't matter if I lived or died. But now I can't stop shaking.
That's perfectly normal. I'm scared to death too,
But what scares me most is losing you.
M- Michael.
I should have noticed. Noticed his arms were tensing up. Noticed and stopped him. So please, allow me to repay you. I said I would do anything for you, so let me do this. I haven't given you anything. I haven't done anything for you. So give me one final chance.
M-
Oh, what are you going to do?
Michael!
Oh, he let go. No, Michael, no.
I'm not ready. What are you doing? Get back in here, Michael! What? Why? The door. I can't open it.
Okay, if he dies out here, even if they don't get in the door, she is going to be stuck up here. Michael, you have just possibly sentenced her to death anyways. But anyways, I shoved on the door trying to go after him, but it wouldn't budge even the slightest bit. It was as though there had never been a door there at all, merely a wall disguised as one. It wasn't someone holding it shut from the other side either. I pushed and pulled with all my might, but I couldn't even manage to eke out the tiniest crack.
Michael! Michael! What did you do to the door? Come on, get back in here! I don't want to lose you either. Say something, Michael. You're out there, aren't you? Please, please don't do anything rash. They're going to kill you if you're out there.
Giselle, the witch told me
What?
that she would ensure your safety.
Michael, she isn't real. There is no witch talking to you. It's all in your head. A figment of your imagination created to alleviate your loneliness. Girl,
Look, usually I would be on board with this, and actually, like in this scenario, yeah, I would probably be right there with her, but also, you don't know that she's not real. You've just kind of made that up. Is he going to do the cursed blood thing again, but it doesn't work? Possibly. I mean, his blood actually isn't cursed this time, so rest assured, she does not lie.
Michael!
Please listen. You are a wonderful woman, Giselle. Spirited,
true to yourself, deeply sympathetic. You are not to blame for how difficult your life has been. Most of the fault lies with me and a bit of bad fortune. But that's all behind you now. Once this is over, you can start anew. Yeah, we know where Hot Maid has been for the last, like, I don't know how many 100 years. So, press X to doubt. What are you talking about? So, survive. Live a good, fulfilling life. Move past this. Live your life. And always love your family. I know you can do that. That is my wish for you. No, I don't. I don't want that. I want to be with you. No one else but you. I don't want to let you die. There it is. Death to the heretic. Death to the heretic. How many times are you going to say that, man? Death to the heretic. Get back in here, Michael. Open the door. If my choice is to live on without you, I'd rather... Your scars will heal. You'll find a nice man and have a wonderful family. Why? Thank you, Giselle, for bringing light to my world. Don't say that. But if there is a next life, I hope you don't mind if I pray that we're able to meet again. That we can find each other once more in another world. Michael! Michael, it is our holy duty as knights of the church to deliver punishment unto the heathen who made a pact with the devil. Come on, Michael, open the door! You are sentenced to death, your body to be hanged upon the cross for 3 days and 3 nights, wherein your unholy flesh, sorry, I can't read, shall be purified by the fires of heaven. Oh my God, man, leave him alone. Why? What are you doing here? Open the door! Michael, please! Listen to me! You can hear me out there, can't you? You shall now be executed. Do you have any final words? Who is it that you're sentencing to death? Michael Bollinger? Or a demon child, naturally. Or a witch, perhaps. Please open the door! Why won't you open it? He isn't unholy or impure. He's a perfectly normal human and a very sweet man. Yes, I'm the witch. The witch is in here. I'm the one you want to execute. Kill me. Execute me. Now I see, Giselle. This world. Kill him. So many blades pierced my flesh. A sword in my chest, lances in my arms and shoulders, arrows in both of my legs. I could hardly even tell what hurt anymore. There was an unpleasant sound in the tower, almost like a heavy rain. It was the sound of my blood spilling onto the stone. Red. It was red, just like anyone else's blood. It didn't flow into unnatural patterns. It didn't turn into black, demonic shadows. It didn't cause anyone who touched it harm. It was just ordinary red blood. Regardless, this body was probably still cursed. It had to be. I couldn't hear Giselle's voice anymore. I hoped she was safe and alive. I prayed that at least she would be protected, that the witch would keep her promise. It was getting dark. Light was quickly departing from my world. Darkness everlasting dragged me down into its pits. I believed in you. Michael? Michael! Hey, say something! Talk to me! Hey, what's going on? Oh, what's going on here? No. This can't be happening. An impossibly heavy thud came from beyond the door, and with it, Michael fell silent. Then intermittent squelching sounds as something slid down the door. Ah, ah, no, 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 this can't be. Why? Why? I pounded on the door with all my strength, but it still refused to give. The skin on my hands eventually going raw and beginning to seep blood. Why? Why should Michael have to be killed? Tell me why? Take me with you. Please, don't leave me behind. That man isn't a witch. He isn't cursed. I'm I'm cursed, not him. So don't hang him. Don't humiliate him like that. Kill me instead. Please. Again and again and again I pounded on the door. But the self-described knights on the other side seemed to not even be aware of my presence. They seemed unable to hear my cries. Their armor clanking with each step, they began to descend the staircase. And with it, I could hear the sound of something being dragged slowly across the floor. No, don't take him away. Stop! Don't take Michael away from me! I'm begging you! But my pleas were in vain. My hope was for naught. The knights took him away. Took him somewhere out of my reach. For all eternity. Don't take him away from me! Well, I'm devastated. It's fine. I didn't need my heart. Michael. After much, much too long, the door swung open all on its own. It happened so unceremoniously, it was hard to believe I had actually been trapped inside. I had no idea how much time had passed, but the chill in the air suggested that it was deep into the night. And with the biting cold, there was the stench of blood. Oh, Giselle. Why? Why? Michael, I never wanted this. Okay, I do not want my neighbors to hate me, but you didn't understand at all, Michael. You didn't know the depth of my feelings for you. You didn't know how intensely I wanted you, how fervently I loved you. I was never going to be able to find someone else and live happily with them. It had to be you. The thought of anyone else touching me terrified me. You just didn't understand. I don't want I don't want to live in this stupid world. The time I spent with you truly was the happiest time of my life. I remember. I remember everything now. You died on that day. You were killed. You disappeared from this world and left me behind. That's right. I remember. I remember the pain, the agony of death, and the fear. I did indeed die that day. You refused to listen to me. Do you have any idea how it felt to feel you dying from the other side of that door? Giselle, I wanted you to take me with you. Is this what you so wanted to see? My memories, the traces of my life on this earth, end there. In order to find your truth, we need more of the story. Very well then. If you want more of the story, I will tell you more. What comes next is both a continuation and a brand new tale. The Maid's Tale. When you've heard it all, I expect you to commend me for not forgetting how to smile. We haven't completely cut through the darkness yet. An Arctic wind blows past me. At the same time, I'm gripped with an overwhelming urge to break down into tears. Perhaps this is the solitude she felt for so long. I have to face this. I have a responsibility to her to do so. And I have to atone for being such a misguided fool all those many years ago, convinced that I was doing what was best. I really like the parallel here, where she had to tell Michael in the past. Oh, we're at the sixth door. But where she had to tell Michael in the past about her whole time in the village after running away, and now she's having to tell Michael in the present what has happened to her when she's been away, or I guess when we've been away. This is my tale, and the maid's tale. The tale of a foolish, naive girl. Looking back on it now, I'm ashamed of everything. But I will tell you my story in its entirety without embellishments. I ask that you please not let go of my hand. We will never let go of your hand anymore. Never. Ever, ever, ever. Oh, we're picking up right where we left off. The only things the knights left behind were a garment and a large pool of your blood. Blood had seeped into the fabric, and it was beginning to dry. When I clenched it in my hand, it made soft crackling sounds. The oppressive stench of death lingered in the tower. Michael, there's no point in a life without you. You know that, right? Have a wonderful family. You know I can't do that. Hey, Michael, answer me. Come back to me. I don't care if it's as a ghost. I just need you here with me. Come back to me. Talk to me about nothing and about everything. Be irritated with me when I do something stupid. Scoff at me whenever I tell a bad joke. Transmit chess again. Put your arms around me. One more time. Come on. I'm begging you. If you won't come back to me, then I'll go to you. I don't care if that's not what you wanted for me. This world without you is meaningless. Dying won't guarantee you get to see him again. He spends all this time refusing to talk to me, and when he finally does, he begs me to save his love. Oh, how the mighty have fallen. Rather disappointing, to be honest. Who... who are you? Where are you? Quite daft, aren't you? Within these walls, I am everywhere. And you've heard of me before. What? I... I have no... Heavens, you are slow. Is that pretty head of yours only for decoration? What? But no, there's no one else. You might be thicker than these walls, my dear. Although, I suppose I shouldn't be something. I didn't read the rest of that. You never did believe anything Michael said about me. You thought he was going mad. This is brilliant. No, there's no way. It can't be. The cursed witch? Morgana? Oh, you even know my name, do you? It would appear my legend has survived longer than I expected. I suppose I should thank all the humans who passed it down for me. You. You actually exist? I most certainly do, my dear. As I recall, you don't believe in the supernatural, do you? But it's hard to deny when that very witch is talking to you right this moment. Michael was not even slightly mad, my dear. I told him he was better off without his sanity, but he refused to listen. He wasn't deranged. His surroundings were. His environment, the people around him, his whole world. Can you imagine how dreadful that must have been? To be the only sane resident in a world gone utterly mad. It's a miracle he managed to keep his head. Remember what you said just before he died, my dear. You said it was all in his head. You said he couldn't tell the difference between illusion and reality. You said he had long since gone insane. Shouted it at the top of your lungs. No, that's not what I meant. Oh, poor, poor Michael. If only you had believed him about the witch. I feel bad for you too, though. You have my pity. What did you ever do to deserve this? Oh, and just to be perfectly clear, I played no part in either your or Michael's misfortune. The only force to blame for that is fate. You were a good, honest, joyful, lovable woman. And look at how the world treated you. May I ask you something? Was it you who sealed me on the tower? Yes, it was. That was what Michael wanted. Once, I told him I would grant his wish. So, I did as he asked. Though it looks like that ended up causing you even more pain. How tragic. So, you're planning to die. Are you hoping to reunite with him in heaven? That plan's destined to fail from the outset, my dear. God teaches that suicide is a sin, and you'll go to hell for it. Then, I will not kill you. Why not? Because I swore to Michael that I would save your life. Poor, poor Giselle. If you have any other wish, I'll be happy to grant it. I don't think anything would materially change if Giselle believed in the witch, except for the fact that as he was dying, Michael likely heard her saying that he was going mad, which is just like everyone else, according to Morgana. So I guess it wouldn't necessarily materially change like any of what happened, but it would change the circumstances in which he felt upon his death, which is fucked up still. But I can't bear to see you so miserable. A wish. You have but a single desire right now, to see him once more. Isn't that right, Giselle? Are you saying you can make that happen? You'll bring him back to life for me? The forces of life and death are outside of my realm. That is God's territory, or the angels. However, I can guarantee you this. His reincarnation, no, his reconstruction, his reconstruction. Yes, you can meet him again. Not in this life, but in some future life. Just imagine it. Finding your beloved again after overcoming so much tragedy. 10, 20, maybe 100 long years from now, you're finally reunited. Doesn't that sound marvelous? True, unparalleled love in its purest form. What do you think? Just because you can bring his soul back doesn't make it Michael. I want to be with him, that brisk, impenetrable, slightly immature, but gentle as a butterfly man. The man who sincerely, deeply loved me. If it's the same soul in a different body, can you still call him my Michael? Ah, my apologies. You beat me to the punchline, and you did so with such ardor you threw me off balance. You're exactly right. The idea that if your love is strong enough, you can both be reborn and have exactly the same relationship is utter fairy tale nonsense. You must be the same people to have the same love, which is why I'm not promising his rebirth or reincarnation, but his reconstruction. Your wish can become reality, Giselle, as long as you wish for it with all your heart. It can come true. I'll wish for his reconstruction as well. You have a witch asking to make this happen, my dear, so you can be confident that it will bear fruit. And you wish for him to remain as himself. If he truly loves you, and he too wishes to reunite with you, your wish shall be granted. Will you really wish with me? I most certainly will, my poor, pitiful, dear Giselle. I shall offer up my most heartfelt prayers for you. I... I'll wish for it. Until the moment of my death, I'll keep wishing for us to be reunited as the same people. I can't guarantee your reconstruction, though. What? I only said I guaranteed his. Michael's is the only reconstruction I will wish for. I will not ask for yours. Oh, why not? You're not looking at a benevolent wish-granting goddess or an angel with a magic bow and arrow. You're looking at a cursed witch. Then how am I to be with him again? I can offer you but one option that will allow you to reunite with your reconstructed Michael. Tell me, what do I have to do? You must live here with me. Live with you? What do you mean? It was Michael who resurrected me, but he could not serve as my guide. I have work to do, but I cannot do it alone. I need a guide to assist me. Because, as you can see, I have no body. If this house did not exist in this world, then perhaps I might be able to give myself form. My soul's form. I don't understand anything you're saying. You don't need to understand. All I need from you is for you to show your utmost hospitality to the people I'm expecting to show up at this mansion someday. Entertain your guests. That's right, my dear. Michael isn't the only one whose reconstruction I'm wishing for. There are others. Several heinous sinners. Huh. So I want you to serve as a maid and watch over them when they arrive. And until then, keep the house in good condition. What? What are you scheming? Is that something you truly need to know, my dear? All you need to do is wish. Pray for the day your beloved appears before you again. For the day he wraps his arms around you once more. One word, Giselle. That's all I require. Do you want to see him again? Do you want to hear his voice again? I can promise you, you'll have your happiness back. What reason is there to hesitate? There isn't one. Or are you simply going to give up? I wonder, what would happen if you said no? If you disappear from this world, how will Michael react when he comes back? Will he be sad? Angry? Or will he forget about you and fall into the arms of another woman? No, he can't. Then make up your mind. Will you come with me, or will you throw it all away? I... If I had given it a little thought, I would have realized she was manipulating me, that she was just telling me what I wanted to hear. But I believed her. I accepted her proposition. As unbelievable as it sounded, my desire for it to be real overpowered everything. It was impossible not to grasp at the straws that she was dangling in front of me. That was all I could do at the time. The witch's voice also had an inexplicable power to it. It made me believe, as outrageous as it was, that she really could bring you back, reconstruct you. Maybe because I had seen her turn a door into an immovable wall. Or maybe because I had heard her disembodied voice. But I don't think those are enough to explain it. My guess is she had me under her spell. That was the moment I became the maid. But I assure you, I was at that point still the same Giselle you knew and loved.
Yeah, if you say no, he will fall into the arms of that harlot Abby.
The sound of the rain never seems to stop. Am I hallucinating it, maybe? From the moment I lent my ear to the witch's sweet temptations, the mansion underwent an unimaginable transformation. No light shone through the windows, despite them still being unobstructed. Not morning, day, or evening. In fact, the concepts of morning, day, and evening didn't seem to exist. The darkness resembled that of when the windows had all been sealed off, but there was something more fundamentally unreal about it. Like it was hovering over a vast, all consuming abyss within a constant haze of malice. I felt like I had been cast into some unknown realm, and that was why there was nothing beyond the windows. And the house was not the only thing that underwent changes. I, too, was no exception. In the blink of an eye, all my basic human urges vanished. I stopped feeling hungry, and I no longer needed sleep. Naturally, I was bewildered by what was happening to me, what I was turning into. I think I'll take a look around. Maybe there have been other changes. So I meandered through the mansion's halls. My original intent was to explore the entire house, but I found myself drawn towards one room in particular. That's right, your bedchamber. There was no light, not a trace of color remaining in your chambers. But the bed was the same shape, the walls the same texture, the curtains the same design as when you had been alive.
Yeah, and sometimes my face turns into a spiral too. Remember that? Neat little party trick I learned.
Michael, I'm praying. I'm always praying that someday we'll meet again. Oh, there's something hidden under the bed. What could it be? It's that painting. I never did get to ask why he got so angry about me seeing this. I'm sure it's something he didn't want to be reminded of, perhaps having to do with his family. I was right not pressing him about it.
Well, that's nice and creepy. Living painting. Lovely.
Ah, ah, oh, what the? Did the painting just smirk at me? Oh, God. Ah, and, oh, geez, Giselle. What are you doing tripping over yourself? It was just that accursed witch messing with your head. No need to get spooked over a tasteless prank. Uh, when I stumbled, I guess I knocked a drawer open. There's something inside. Letters, it looks like. I shouldn't touch these. They're not mine.
I mean, they're ours now. Like, there's no one else here. Michael's got to be, like, reborn, so it's ours for a bit.
But I want something of Michael's to have. Something to remember him by. His letters would be in his handwriting. They would contain his words. Please forgive me, Michael. I don't mean you any ill will, but I'm going to take these. I must say there are an impressive number of... What the... What on earth? It's like someone dumped an inkwell on every page, but why? Was this the witch's doing too? Yeah, it has to be. It must have been her. It definitely wasn't you, Michael. Was it? The front door. I wonder what it's like outside. Aw, I can't get it open. What's going on? The bar isn't set, but it won't budge an inch. It's just like up in the tower. I know, the windows. Yeah, I would have preferred to have his child to remember him by, but I suppose these letters will do. How fucked up would it be if, like, Michael's reincarnation was, like, what she gave birth to? Or reconstruction, whatever you want to call it. They should open. I can then... What's going on here? What the heck is going on? It's like there's an invisible wall in front of the window. My hand won't go any farther. Oh, this is rich. What else can I do but laugh? What in the world? This is madness. Hurry up, Michael. Return to me and get me out of here. Please, get me out of here. Mm. Yeah, exactly. We'd be really getting into Umineko territory. I saw something the other day, and I didn't finish reading the thread because it was going to go into spoilers about this. So I did stop at Giselle. But comparing like Rose Brides in Japanese media, and Beatrice and Giselle were both mentioned. So if you see that thread, watch out. There's spoilers. I just assumed there's spoilers. I didn't read what was the rest of Giselle's, but it was a good thread for the rest of what I read. I had no idea how to explain anything that had happened to the mansion, but it was clear enough that I was imprisoned within its walls. It was a good thread. Like, I was vibing along with it, and then they hit Giselle, and I went, oh no, I don't want to spoil myself. So I'm hoping I will see that thread again after we finish this, so I can sit there and read the rest of it and go, yeah, that's a good end to the thread. It's solid content, so. I was all alone in a nebulous sphere of bleak darkness, and beyond its walls lay void. The layout of the house remained unchanged, but I felt as though I had wandered into a twisting labyrinth. Yeah, I didn't realize that I was really into like the Rose Bride kind of motif, but like a lot of my favorite media was on that list. So, and I was sitting there going, "Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah." I could cry, but there was no one there to soothe me. All it did was provoke her disembodied cackling, which she followed with, "You chose this, my dear. So you need to hold yourself together and keep wishing." My only real pastime was cleaning. I dusted the same corners again and again, swept the same floors, polished the same dishes. One day I decided I would read the books left in the library. Despite there being more than 100 volumes, I finished every one of them in what felt like no time at all. My life was a never-ending cycle. Day in and day out, day in and day out. The house had no visitors. No one, rather, nothing, had all set foot upon the property. There were no signs of other life whatsoever there. No birds singing in the morning, no cats sunbathing in the garden, no mice scurrying about the kitchen, no creepy crawly insects. There was nothing. Nothing at all. The only thing that broke the long stretches of silence was her voice. Tell me, was she kind to you? Was she friendly and courteous? Because she was quite harsh when she spoke to me. These were the kinds of things she was always saying to me. He didn't show up today, did he, my dear? Are you still praying, my dear? Do you think he'll actually come, my dear? I'm still wishing, just like I promised, my dear. You know why he hasn't come for you, my dear. Because perhaps he doesn't actually love you as much as you thought. My dear, my dear, my dear, have you lost your mind yet? Shut up! I've had enough. I'm done with you. Yeah, Morgana, please fuck off. Enough. Please, enough already. Oh, what's got you so worked up? You love to talk, don't you? So why not have a nice little chat with me? This is not a chat. Maybe not in your mind, my dear. You seem to think chatting only constitutes conversations you enjoy. But I don't think the word's usage needs to be so restricted, personally. You're just getting off on watching me squirm. Oh, not at all. You'll have all my best wishes if he ever does show up for you. Oh, so scary. If you're making that face when he shows up, he might not even recognize you. You haven't looked in a mirror recently, have you? Go on then, my dear. See just how frightful you've become. No. The witch was right. I looked nightmarish. My face was pale and lifeless, my eyes hollow, my cheeks sunken, heavy bags beneath my eyes. My hair had lost its sheen and it grew wildly. I was quickly losing everything that made me recognizable as me, and the thought sent a shiver down my spine. No, this isn't me. This is some kind of trick. You're trying to deceive me. Baseless accusations. You really must stop blaming people every time something doesn't turn out the way you want, my dear. But, my face was more, what? More expressive? More cheerful? Brighter? Rosier? You're right, you were never this gloomy, were you? Right, I was always more cheerful than this. Naive girl. Could you be any more narcissistic? Huh? What you're looking at is undeniably exactly what you look like now. Time did not do that to you, nor did I. The negative energy oozing from within you is what's causing you to take on this form. Did you think you didn't have any dark, ugly emotions inside you? Did you believe you would always be able to smile no matter what? Did you assume you were pure and beautiful? No one like that exists, my dear. What you see in the mirror is the true you, your hideous, twisted heart. If you weren't always being so nasty, this never would have happened. Anyone's heart would be twisted listening to you long enough. So you're saying Michael's heart was twisted too? I spoke to him for years. No! I'm just teasing. I suppose I may have crossed the line there. I mean you no ill will, Giselle, honest. Allow me to give you one word of advice, though. Look at yourself in the mirror often. If you continue deteriorating at this rate and end up looking like a corpse, when Michael comes and sees you, he won't jump for joy, but run away, screaming in terror. Then he's weak. Sorry. Stop talking. Please just stop. You know, Giselle, this is only the very beginning. He might not show up for hundreds of years. I can't. I can't live that long. Absolutely brilliant. You still think you're alive? What? The moment you agreed to come with me, you ceased to be of this world. So don't worry about time, my dear. You can wait as long as it takes. As long as it takes for him to arrive. As the witch had suggested, I started checking my appearance in the mirror every day. I wanted to ensure I didn't turn into some horrifying creature. My hair grew, so time seemed to be passing. But I didn't appear to age at all. The flow of time had become perplexingly vague and uncertain. Was it stopped? Or was it moving? I couldn't tell. On occasion, I would practice smiling in front of the mirror. My smile was, after all, my one really distinctive feature, and I was certain you had seen me smiling more than anything. Even if my appearance had changed drastically, I thought, you would still be able to recognize me by my smile. A woman standing alone in front of a mirror practicing how to smile. I'm sure that was quite the comical sight. And that was about how my days went, for an incomprehensibly long time. All right, we are headed to. Oh my god. She lived so long alone? 1200. So what, we went forward just over 100 years, if I can do math. We figured out that I can't do math on stream, though, so if I'm wrong, yeah. For the first 100 years, I kept track of how much time had passed. An hour, a day, a month, a year, 10 years, 50. But once it had surpassed a person's average lifespan, the counting started driving me mad, and so I stopped. My sense of time began to numb. In place of sleep, I spent my days in a trance-like state. Doing so, I was less aware of the passage of time, which made it a little easier to bear. Suspended in this bubble of time, my mind went out to you. Oh, and we're still going. 1300. So 200 years. The next thing I lost was a sense of myself. I'd lived as a human for 21 years. After spending nearly 10 times that trapped in the mansion. So Giselle was 21. She was an adult then. I began to feel like that was all I had ever been. That maybe my past was all a construction of my imagination. That, as an otherworldly being, I merely fantasized about being human. Had I actually had a family? Had there actually been other people in the world? Did cities and villages really exist? Was there ever really a time when light shone through the windows? When we were happy? But I knew if I started doubting everything, I wouldn't be able to maintain myself. So I settled on believing one thing, that you, Michael, were real. That you had been with me, that I had loved you, and that it was you I was waiting for. I tried to always remember that one fact. All right, 1400. My characteristic energy and cheer were disappearing. By then, I hardly ever raised my voice anymore. And in response to that change, the witch seemed to treat me a little nicer. On occasion, I thought I could sense her presence nearby, like she might reveal her form to me from beyond the darkness instead of only speaking to me. I could feel her sitting beside me. Giselle, do you still think you're Giselle even now? I suppose it doesn't matter either way. Sometimes I think love and fanaticism are two sides of the same coin. What are you implying? Oh, nothing. I have an idea, though. Why don't we make you some new clothes, my dear? The loom should still work, thanks to your keeping everything in order. That outfit's an artifact of an age long past by now. You know how long it's been? Vaguely, but yes. As we speak, time still marches onward. Not too quickly and not too slowly, but at the same pace as you're breathing. Now, on your feet, Giselle. We have plenty of time, so let's make you the perfect maid's outfit. And if we don't have enough materials, we can make more thread from the sheets or the curtains. How exciting! Following her instructions, I wove garments in a style that did not exist in my era. They were quite strange to behold. The old me might have been stricken with fascination by them, but at that point, I wasn't even sure how to rejoice, how to be impressed, or how to be moved anymore.
right, 1500.
It sounds like rain again.
Okay, girl, how many hisses are you gonna do?
What year is it? Oh, it doesn't matter what year it is. It doesn't matter where it is. As long as you're there. It can be any time, anywhere. Where are you, Michael? What are you doing? I'm still praying. I'm still wishing for you to appear before me. Forever and ever and ever. And ever and ever and ever. I've been praying for so long. I don't even know how long it's been. Before you left, you said that you were going to pray too. You said you hoped we could meet again in another life. I'm not misremembering, am I? Michael, come back to me soon. I love you so, so very much. But my memories of you are starting to fade. What did your voice sound like? What kinds of faces did you make? Where did you like to put your hands on me? I don't want to forget. I want to always remember. My memories of you are the only thing holding me together. But they're slipping away from me. How did you speak? What kinds of things did you talk about? I'm losing all these memories. Please, Michael, come back to me. Before I forget everything, my beloved master.
Yeah, it's gonna be real weird when Michael finally appears to her as Mel, and she's still physically 21. I mean, that's assuming we were going with the reincarnation thing, but like, what if it's not? What if Michael just hasn't appeared until now? The thought crossed my mind that maybe Morgana's guarantee that you would be reconstructed was just a lie to trick me into staying here, but I quickly discarded it, because if she had been lying, it would strip all meaning from my very existence. It would take from me my purpose for being here. So I didn't want to accept that possibility. I had no choice but to persevere in my belief that you would return. I had always thought I would be all right, that my faith would never waver. I still believed in myself. But you can be the happiest, most optimistic, resolute person in the world, and you will still break eventually. And I was at the point where even the slightest tap would shatter me into fragments. All right, and we are in 1591. So I think this is Mel.
Several hundred years after I was enslaved within the mansion, something changed for the very first time. Sunlight, which I had not seen in all that time, shone in from the outside. At first, I didn't believe it was real. I thought it was a hallucination born of my inner desires, and I thought I must have completely lost it for my fantasies to have escaped my mind. But it didn't matter if it was all an illusion. The gentle breeze blowing in through the window felt wonderful. The smell of grass, the chirping of birds, the glistening blue sky. It was like 1,000 memories rushing back all at once, and it brought tears to my eyes. The time has come, Giselle. It's time for you to get to work. And as she always did, the witch's voice crushed my elation, dragging me back to reality. Reveling in the sight of the outside was the last thing I should have been doing, for it was that moment that began my true decline. Work? What kind of work? Have you already forgotten? Oh, good heavens. Do you have your head on straight, my dear? As I said, I need you to watch over the house and show your utmost hospitality to those who show up. Is someone... This is merely an appetizer. It looks like someone's here. Hold on. I have no idea what I'm supposed to do. Do the same thing you have been doing. Be a maid. Convince the house's guests that this is a wonderful place. Make them enjoy their stay. Now, go on. I'm quite looking forward to this.
Okay, so we're 12 years away from our flaxen-haired family story.
The bar has been removed. But will the door open? For so long, the door had refused to budge. For so long, light had forsaken these halls. For so long, there had been no trace of life. And now, all of that had been turned on its head. I felt like I had stepped into heaven on earth. I know it sounds melodramatic, so please don't laugh. It was almost certainly a perfectly ordinary slice of nature. Leaves and grass rustled in the wind, flowers specked the earth, and in the distance was a city I didn't recognize. I wondered where I was, of course, but I neither shouted nor jumped in surprise. Instead, I found myself accepting of my circumstances, as unnatural as they might have been. As I was standing there idly before the entrance, a carriage rolled up. Gad, could this road be any bloody worse? It's in dire need of paving on top of everything else. Hmm? And who might you be, young lady? That outfit. He's speaking a different language. The middle-aged man approached me. From his attire and the way he held himself, he appeared to be upper class. However, the words coming out of his mouth were not in the language I had grown up speaking. Could the mansion have moved somewhere far, far away? Naturally, I had no idea how such a thing was possible, and the longer I stood there staring at him absent-mindedly, the more incredulous he became. My immediate mission was to overcome the language barrier. Fortunately, I suppose, I was able to understand bits and pieces of what he had said. As merchants in the capital, my family did business with people from the other countries, and as a result, I had learned a handful of words. The problem was, it had been so long ago I had no confidence whatsoever in my ability to hold a conversation. I I am a servant. Servant? Can't say I remember asking for a lady servant, but I suppose these things do happen. Doesn't matter much who they sent. Who are you? You weren't informed. Bloody hell, off to a great start, I see. Well, what can you do, I guess. The name's Hayden Rhodes. Just a retired old man. As I'm sure you've already guessed, this man was the Rhodes siblings' grandfather. He was also the first person I served under as the maid.
Yeah. I mean, that's assuming that we are actually in the same place. I'm wondering, like, I was thinking about it when we were looking at Jacopo's story, because that all of a sudden took place in the New World, so in the Americas. What if we're actually moving like space and time? So, like, this might not even be English, this might be like French. I don't know, it's just a thought. For a member of an esteemed noble family, Hayden was a bit on the eccentric side. He only hired a handful of servants, claiming he was not fond of clamor. There was a single chef, a physician, a servant to take care of all the cleaning, and then me, who served as his personal assistant. Whenever he got the chance, Hayden would chase me down and make me practice proper etiquette. According to him, I had much to learn. You are at least technically a servant of the Rhodes family, young lady, so I can't have you going around playing the country bumpkin act.
Yes, sir.
And we'll have to do something about that accent, too, while we're at it.
I have an accent?
Thicker than bloody molasses. Now, I have no interest in sticking my nose into your business, asking where you hail from. But while you're here, you must act the part, young lady. Lucky for you, I'm retired and have all the time in the world. Hayden was on the eccentric side and the slutty side. Did you see him with that painter's buff? I could be wrong, isn't this the dude that died having intercourse? That they just, like, for some reason dropped that information into the first chapter? Or am I thinking of a different game? I'll teach you everything you need to know about proper etiquette.
Uh, all right.
Speak up, will ya?
Yes, sir.
Hayden did not go easy on me either. In addition to my day-to-day duties, I studied etiquette, the language, proper pronunciation, and formal diction. Anytime I made the slightest mistake, he would shout his dissatisfaction. That was the same. I thought I was right. Listen carefully. A servant is the face of a house.
A servant's gaff is her master's gaff. Always keep this in mind. You're not just a maid. You must always act with elegance and grace. You must always maintain your composure, even if the house is falling down around you. Whatever happens, you deal with it quickly and quietly. Your language must be immaculate. No ums, uhs, or pauses, for any reason.
Yes, sir.
No stammering either. Sorry! Bloody hell, you are not going to make this easy, are you? Whose idea was it that a country bumpkin would make a good servant? I'd like to give him a piece of my mind. I'm not from the country. Not even slightly. I was raised in the capital. Is that so, eh? A prim and proper city girl, are you? In that case, you should be a quick study.
Absolutely. I can learn anything in a week tops. Piece of cake.
Is that so? All right then, starting tomorrow, I'm tripling your lessons.
I didn't think this through.
There we go. Put this marble in your mouth and say the rain in Spain falls mainly on the plain. In addition to being my master, Hayden was my teacher. When he yelled, he grew twice his size, and I shrunk to half mine. But it wasn't at all an unpleasant experience, because I knew he wasn't raising his voice to belittle me. His instruction may have been harsh, but it was human interaction. There were people around that I could talk to, and that was wonderful. I was starting to regain some of my humanity. Unlike me, you've still got a long life ahead of you, young lady. Well, longer than you think. I don't know what kind of life you've lived, but I can't imagine it's been all that easy. Not many servant girls your age without a home to go back to. Which is why you need to learn this. Once you've got all the rules and customs down, you'll be able to hold your own at any noble's estate. You shouldn't have any trouble keeping yourself employed. I'm sure you think I'm just a loud, obnoxious old man, but I believe we met for a reason, so I hope you'll stick with me.
I, don't think about you like that at all, master. You're a remarkable man.
One more time.
I deeply appreciate your generous consideration, master, from the bottom of my heart.
Aye. I didn't know much about Hayden's situation, why he had retired to this mansion all alone, away from the rest of his family. But any time I asked about them, he would say, "It happens sometimes," with a melancholic frown. Before long, 2 years had passed. By that point, my etiquette had improved enough to satisfy his high standards. In that time, the mansion underwent a number of decor changes, as Hayden brought in sculptors to work on different areas of the house. He also sealed off rooms that were not in use, such as the observation tower and the chapel. Interesting. Apparently, a piece of cake goes back to the 1930s. You know what? I would have thought that would be earlier. Like, there's nothing particularly dated about it, but I don't know. You never know. Etymology is fun. Weird, but fun. It was a sad thing seeing areas with so many memories for me falling into disuse, but as a mere servant, I had no say in the matter. In addition, Hayden seemed to greatly enjoy renovating the house, so I watched him warmly. The furniture was all gradually replaced, gorgeous paintings hung on the walls, colorfully patterned curtains installed, and a brilliant rose garden planted. These roses come from all across the world. Nowhere else can you see so many different varieties in one place.
It's beautiful. Did you know that in the city, people are starting to call the mansion Rose Manor?
Rose Manor.
And to think there used to be nothing but weeds here. Amazing how much it's changed. I never thought I would see this garden turned into something so beautiful.
Are you fond of roses, young lady?
Yes. Red ones especially. Red roses mean a great deal to me. They remind me of a time long past.
Given one as a gift, were you?
No, I believe I was the one who gave the rose. So red roses are a symbol of my feelings. They're very precious to me. I gave you a rose as a gift. You plucked it from its stem and placed it in my hair. Am I remembering correctly? My memories are so vague now. I can't even remember the look on your face that day.
There are some kids I'd like to give roses to myself.
Who?
My grandchildren.
Oh my.
You have grandchildren? Aye, though we haven't been in touch for some time. Last I saw them was 4 years ago, when when my second grandchild was born. The sweetest girl in the world with lovely flaxen hair. She's going to be a real beauty when she grows up. Anyway, they're wonderful kids. And one day, I want to hand this garden over to them. Each and every rose containing my hope that they'll lead comfortable, healthy lives free of strife. I'm sure your wish will come to pass. Your grandchildren will have wonderful lives. Aye.
Will they?
The grief of not having you around still weighed heavily on my mind, but I was slowly approaching contentedness. Life with Hayden was slow and uneventful, peaceful and relaxing. I imagined my heart was seeking anything to alleviate its pain, and it found that in the beautifully remodeled mansion, the garden blooming wildly with roses, and my time with Hayden. I was even beginning to think this life was enough for me, that I would be okay with this being the end if it meant more of the tranquility I felt. I was like a coward considering giving up the fight. Please do forgive me for ever considering such a thing. I think we're going to end here for tonight. This was about where the time I had set. So next stream, Thursday at 10 o'clock Eastern, 7 o'clock Pacific. It is going to be our final stream before we take hiatus, so come hang out. Um, Interesting. I did not know that about Cakewalk either. Etymology is very, very, very weird. Exactly. Look, I do not blame Giselle for wanting to be happy, because she's been happy for she's been unhappy for so long. Like, it is literally our fault for being centuries late. I don't know exactly what is going on yet, but like, girl has suffered a lot. We suffered 10 years with the witch, and she's now had hundreds, so it makes sense that she's starting to lose herself. Um, okay, any other announcements? I can't think of any, so yeah, thanks for hanging out, and we'll be back on Thursday. Thanks all. Have a good night. Bye.